This is Pam. Today I'm going to be helping you to prepare for a healthy holiday. And healthy holidays are really great because you can really enjoy delicious food and you're not sacrificing your health. And that is a really big deal, especially for those of us that are living with chronic disease. We don't want to feel worse than we're feeling right now. If we haven't met, my name is Pam Bartha, and I'm the author of Become a Wellness Champion and the founder of Live Disease Free. I'm also going to be sharing with you amazing successes from our students. This is kind of a review, a reflection of 2023. This is the last live event that I will be hosting, and there's some really awesome things I want to share with you, which are going to give you a lot of hope and a lot of hope for this year coming up, 2024. It can be your very best year. So, if we haven't met, my name is Pam Bartha, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis over 35 years ago. And when I was diagnosed, I was just 28 years old, and I was told that there was no hope for a cure, that I would be completely disabled in time. And I was devastated because I had always considered myself to be a very healthy person. And I didn't understand how you could go from being super healthy to having a chronic disease like multiple sclerosis, this mysterious disease that would put you in a wheelchair. Well, by the grace of God, I learned early on that the MS was caused by a parasitic infestation. And so, as I treated different types of parasites in my body, I was able to become MS free. And since then, I had another child. I went back to university. I was able to I was a teacher, a high school math and science teacher. And I love working with students, with young kids. I love teaching actually, or teenagers, I should say. But my heart was in really the deepest part of my heart was to help other people recover from chronic disease, because when you get your health and your life back, there's no greater joy than to be able to share that with others and help them to see that there is a better way for them too. So long story short, I have been MS free for 35 years. We've coached hundreds of students all over the world. Because of my teaching background, I was able to develop a program called the Live Disease Free Plan, and that has served hundreds and hundreds of people all over the world. And we have learned so much from our wellness champions. You're going to hear some amazing successes later on in this video. I'm going to share what people are doing 5, 10 years after recovering, and then also what some of the students are doing right now in the program, how they're coming along. So make sure to type in any questions that you have in the question box. Make sure to say hello. And what I wanted to first start with is different drinks and appies. We're going to talk about a healthy holiday, not a meal plan, but different ideas on snacks and drinks and obviously meals that we can have that still taste really good, but are not going to cause us to feel worse than we're feeling right now. So if we first start talking about drinks, there's a lot of sugary drinks that are available over the holidays, and we really don't want to be drinking those. Just one sec here. We really don't want to be drinking those because when we have chronic disease, we're dealing with a parasitic infestation. And the favorite food of these parasites is sugar. So when we're having sugary drinks and we're having candies and chocolates, and then if it has chocolate in it, it also has caffeine, we're really wiring up and really activating these parasites, and then they produce more poisons, and then we end up feeling absolutely horrible. So that's why we definitely do not want to feed the parasites. It's really, really important that we recognize that the parasites can eat different types of foods, but their favorite food would be carbohydrates. So when we talk about drinks, the drinks that I really enjoy, like my very favorite drink is just plain sparkling water with fresh lemon or fresh lime juice in it, squeezed. That to me is just so incredibly refreshing. And it's nice if it's chilled a little bit. You could add mint leaves. Second best would be sparkling water that you can get in a can. There's bubbly, there's LaCroix. You can find them in different, like Costco, for example, different places, grocery stores. They say that they're naturally flavored, but that doesn't naturally flavored does not necessarily mean what you think it means. They, like when I was in university and in my chemistry classes, we would mix different chemicals together, which had carbon in it. So then you would think, well, carbon is natural. So then we could have banana flavor, pineapple flavor, but it's not, pineapple has not gone near this drink. So bubbly and LaCroix are fine. You're having them on a holiday. There's no sugar in it. They do have a fairly nice flavor. But there's one that I found that's really that I love, that I really like, and it's you can find it at Costco, and it's called Sota, Sota, and there is a green and there is a pink. So the pink is grapefruit, and the green is lime. And this drink is awesome because it's really healthy, but it tastes really good also. So there's just natural flavors, herbs, but like really, you'll see that it's completely natural and it tastes really nice. You're actually getting a little bit of healthy supplements in while you're drinking, and it tastes delicious. So either sparkling water, San Pellegrino, Perrier with fresh lime, fresh lemon, or bubbly LaCroix, different types. There's many different types of bubbling, sparkling water that does not have sugar in it. Just make sure it doesn't have sugar. It doesn't taste sweet. You also want to make sure that when you're having these drinks that you're avoiding, like I would avoid stevia, I would avoid the other alcohol sugars like sorbitol and different ones like that. I would avoid all of them. When you are dealing with chronic disease, if you keep having sweet things, it will continue to make your cravings very strong. And when you stop having things that taste sweet on your tongue, you lose that craving. And I call it freedom. So for me, I don't crave sugar at all. I'd like a nice piece of fruit, which is great, but that is all. I don't like the desserts. I think they're disgustingly sweet. And it's been a few years since, I would say many, many years since I have had like desserts because I just don't even like them. I could have them now. I've treated the parasites well enough, but I don't want to get caught up in that rat race of, you're just having sugar, you're craving sugar, then you're having to wean yourself off and you're on the scale and you're gaining weight. And I don't want that in my life anymore, right? That was well before I got sick, and I'm not interested in that. So the nice thing is that you don't need once you're at your ideal body weight, you just eat when you're hungry. You don't need a scale in the house. You don't have the ups and downs. You don't have the cravings, but you still really enjoy your food. And that's what I want to tell you is that give yourself a little bit of time, because you will find that your taste buds will change, and then you won't want to go back to the old way. You will love this new way of eating. It's fresh, it's tasty, it's easy to prepare, and it makes you feel good. It gives you energy, so you're not going to want to go back to the old. So those are just a few cold drinks, but you can also have warm drinks because it's winter in depending where you live in the world. But in a lot of countries it's cold, like in Canada where I'm at. And so I love teas, and I still gravitate to caffeine free, not decaffeinated, but caffeine free. So decaffeinated coffee, decaffeinated tea will still have some caffeine in it, and caffeine will activate, stimulate the parasites. So, the reason that we feel so lousy when we're sick is because we have a parasitic infestation. And so, we don't want to make those parasites more active with sugar or with caffeine. And that's why even decaffeinated should be avoided until you've recovered fully. So, I rarely ever have decaffeinated coffee because I don't like the taste of it anymore. Once you haven't had it for a while and you don't get the buzz from the caffeine, it's like, oh, it kind of gives you a bad taste in your mouth after, where you need a piece of gum or something. So the teas that I really like are peppermint is always a hit. So peppermint tea, spearmint tea. There's lemon ginger tea. There's a ton. There's different rooibos teas that are naturally caffeine free. So they're not decaffeinated, but they're caffeine free. There is one tea that's called, if you like Earl Grey, it's called Tega, Tega. It is naturally caffeine free. So these are teas that taste really good. When you drink them, they are comforting. You can, in the summertime, you can chill some of them. You can put them in the fridge, but they're very lovely to have. And you are going to feel good after you have a cup of tea like that. It's not going to make you feel bad at all. So that's the whole key, is that during the holidays, and this is where it's a bit of a change for many of us. We're shifting away from maybe family traditions that we've had for years and years that are not health promoting. And maybe we got away with it when we were younger, but now we're at a place where, like, I feel horrible. I just don't want to feel any more horrible. So then we start to make changes. And then when we make the changes, we're like, well, this is really nice. I really enjoy this. I love this. And I feel so much better. And I promise you that if you try these suggestions I give you, it's going to make a huge difference how you carry yourself through the holidays, so that you can focus on your relationships with your loved ones and not feeling like you need to crawl back into bed. So let's talk about appies for a minute. So Fawn is saying, I love lemon water as well. Yeah, lemon is great. The only thing is if you're dealing with a parasitic infestation, I wouldn't drink lemon water all day long, because when you look up lemon, or the juice of a lemon, it does have quite a bit of natural sugar in it. So if you are having, like, you're socializing and you're like having one or two drinks of sparkling water, it's fine. But just when you're in the recovery phase of recovering from parasites, you don't want to drink lemon water all day, because there's a fair bit of sugar in lemon and lime, which is shocking because they're both so sour, but they do have a fair bit of lemon. But putting, lemon in your sparkling water, just a little squirt, is not going to be a problem. Just don't drink it all day, every day, because then you might be giving the parasites, they don't need much. They really don't need much. And that's the problem. So she said here, yes, so the oxidizing agent, which I can't say the name of it, but that's one of the oxygen type therapies that we use. If we're using that oxidizing agent, then we definitely would avoid any type of antioxidant, so vitamin C and all the different vitamins. So normally what we would do is, if we do the oxidizing agent, which is part of the recovery, we would definitely have that, the drinks with vitamin C, or the lemon juice, lime juice in our drinks or on our salad, etc., at 1 hour after the last dose if we're taking it orally. Enemas is not that big of a deal, but definitely if we're doing it orally, yes, because the oxidizing agent is like bringing oxygen into your body, and then the antioxidants, the vitamins like vitamin C, which would come from lemon and lime and other fruit, that will neutralize it. So then it's not, that oxygen isn't going to help you in recovering from parasites. So that's a very, very good point. All right, so let's talk about some different types of appies. So right now, or I should say tomorrow, some of our families coming in for tomorrow night for a meal. And so we're going to do pulled pork. We've got a really great recipe. We just found it online, and it's just got garlic and coriander and salt and pepper and just a bunch of different herbs and spices, and you just rub it on, and you just leave it on the Traeger for many hours, and you pull it apart and add a little bit of fresh lemon juice and some chopped up cilantro, and it's delicious. And I won't have it on a bun. We're buying some buns for, people that are not sick, but for people like myself and some others in the family that prefer not to eat a lot of bread, we will have it just on the side, just as a meat side dish. And so there will be other, like a huge salad, there will be some coleslaw, there will be all kinds of other things. But anyhow, so we are also getting things for appies. And so for the appies, we really like to use cucumber rounds instead of crackers. So there will be some crackers for some of the guests that like to eat crackers, but then cucumber rounds, just slicing cucumber into a round like a cracker, works really, really well. And I love smoked salmon. Just make sure to read the ingredients, because sometimes smoked salmon will have sugar in it. It's getting quite expensive, but sometimes you can find little packages. You don't need a lot, but just it's a really nice special, like if it's once a year or twice a year. I don't know if any of you have ever tried cod liver. It sounds really disgusting, but it's really delicious. It's something that we grew up with. And you can just it's really super healthy, high in vitamin A. And it's very tender. It's in little tin cans. It's fairly expensive, maybe $5 or $6 a tin in Canada anyway. In the US, it's probably a little cheaper. but it's super, super healthy and good oils. And just make sure to check what the ingredients are, what they've used for oils. And it's very soft. It's like a pate, and you can just spread it on a cracker with some pepper. And if it's salted, you don't need any, but you could add salt also. So smoked salmon, and we really like cod liver. Um, you can make guacamole, but be really careful you don't eat too much of it. So that raw garlic in the guacamole is really great. But the avocados are still quite high in carbohydrates. So if you are eating too much of the avocado, then it's going to make your carbs go up a lot. But if you had like a tablespoon or so, like just a little bit on the side, and you can dip it in vegetables, etc., a vegetable platter. We always have a big vegetable platter. So you can buy them pre-made in Costco. I like to eat the things like the cauliflower and the broccoli because they're quite, they're lower in carb. Save the snap peas for other people. They're a little bit higher. And the carrots, be careful. One or two carrots is fine, but don't eat a ton of carrots or those snap peas because they will be much higher in natural sugar and carbs. But celery and you'd be surprised that if you get some really nice green beans, they're really nice, crunchy to have with dip. But make sure you have dip with it because that will make you feel a lot more satisfied. And I always whip up a very simple dip. I just get, we have this homemade mayonnaise recipe that we have that we share with our students, but you can find homemade recipes anywhere and try to find one with where they're using apple cider vinegar instead of vinegar in the mayo. But you literally just take mayonnaise and then you add however much chopped garlic you want. Pressed garlic would be even better because it will release the flavor. And then this one here. And then you can just add this, and it's just organic, no salt seasoning. Organic, no salt seasoning, and that we got at Costco. And when I put this, and then of course salt and pepper to taste, and some garlic in the mayonnaise, people are just like, this is the best dip I've ever. I mean, you could see if you want to add a little bit of lemon or lime. I don't even think I add any of that. I honestly don't have a recipe. We just literally just put those herbs in it and salt and pepper. Another seasoning salt that I really like is Herbamare. And this is a really great natural blend of herbs with the salt. It really adds a lot of body to different things. Like if you're making soups, or you could put this in, you could add this to the dip too. But it just adds a deeper, richer flavor to your foods. And it's totally clean, healthy, safe, and you can find it probably in grocery stores. So that dip or mayonnaise is super, super versatile. So we can make a ranch dressing where we would dip vegetables in. We can also make a spicy mayo, which is delicious if you have the patience to deep fry Brussels sprouts. My son-in-law did that once for us one year, and boy, were they ever good. Brussels sprouts are a little higher in carbs, so don't eat like 20 of them. But if you have just a few and dip them in mayo, it's like quite amazing. And chicken wings, of course, and there can be short ribs, like pork short ribs are delicious. You can find in Costco, they're quite narrow, the ribs, they're like about that wide, and there might be like 2 or 3 strands of these ribs in a bigger package, and maybe the package is about that big. And they're just delicious if you put a dry rub on them and you bake them really slowly in the oven. And then once they're ready, you can brown them a little bit on your barbecue. And then you can make even a little separate sauce that has, let's say, red pepper flakes and fresh lime juice and some oil, and just drizzle that or just brush it on a little bit. Or even without it, it tastes good, but adding that onto it at the end is really delicious. So short ribs are great. Chicken wings are so simple. You can do salt and pepper. You don't need to put breading on them at all, and making them crispy just with the right temperature. They're delicious. Some people like oysters. I'm not really a big oyster fan. Prawns with that spicy mayo is really delicious also. My son-in-law made that for us one time. And chicory, maybe you've seen these chicory roots. where they're like the leaves, you can pull the leaves off and you could stuff them with some kind of a salad, like you can mix different things together. There's all kinds of different, you can have meat and vegetables and some mayonnaise or whatever. So with the mayonnaise, you can have like a ranch, as I mentioned, like for just dipping vegetables, or you can make this special one that I have that recipe with, you just use that no salt seasoning. Caesar salad dressing is really delicious also. You can make that with a mayonnaise. So that you would basically be adding a little bit of, for sure, lots of garlic, and then anchovy paste. And anchovy paste would be fine. And then also you can add a little bit of capers if you like, just a few, and it's delicious. So that it's absolutely delicious. And people like having the creamy salad dressing because it is so it's filling and it's just nice and it's different instead of just having lemon juice. And like normally what I put on my salads is olive oil, extra virgin, cold pressed olive oil with some lemon juice or lime juice. All right, so then going on to the meals. So we're going to meet with our whole family over the holidays, and obviously we're going to cook food that everyone can eat, right? Not just what I can eat. So we're going to have the turkey. We love the turkey. We're going to make stuffing. We're going to have gravy. The gravy, there's some of it will be kept separate so that it's not thickened. So it's just like au jus. And I will be using the unthickened gravy. I like that the best. We make mashed potatoes for our family, but there's also whipped mashed cauliflower, which is really delicious. And again, don't have like 3 cups of it, but just have a moderate serving of it, and it's delicious. It's so you cook the cauliflower, and there's recipes all over that you can find. And I think we have it actually probably on our holiday meal ideas, but it's going to be a lot easier on you than the mashed potatoes, and people love it. You can do cauliflower rice, you can do cauliflower whipped mashed cauliflower. It's delicious. So in when you're having your meals, really rely on flavor from herbs and from spices. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, like this is something that my son-in-law got me into, is he got a mortar and pestle for me for Christmas one year. And when you grind, let's say coriander or fennel or different herbs, when you grind them in the mortar and pestle, just a little bit, or roasting them too, a little bit in a pan, the flavor is just crazy. It's so much better. It just adds pizzazz, and then people are like, wow, this is amazing. So really relying on, and what I did this year too is I dehydrated a lot of herbs from our local farms here. So I dehydrated rosemary in my freeze dryer. So it's not dehydrated, but I freeze dried rosemary and basil and sage and thyme, and I'm trying to think what else, just a whole bunch of different herbs. And they're just so handy and so easy. Like rosemary is usually quite hard, like they're like little sticks. But if you freeze dry them, they're very soft and the flavor is still there. So really rely on a lot of these different types of herbs, and get a mortar and pestle. They're not very expensive. You can find them in like home scent stores, and just start to play around. If something's calling for coriander or coriander seeds, then just try to grind them a little bit, and or even roasting them really adds a lot of extra flavor. And then sauces, so like we're avoiding all dairy, but we can really have some nice sauces with the homemade mayonnaise or even store-bought mayonnaise and using that as a base. Or maybe you've heard of chimichurri, which is another really great alternative. We do have a recipe on our Live Disease Free website. I think if you just do a Google search for Live Disease Free and then chimichurri, I'm trying to think, there was some steaks with it, grilled, live disease free grilled ribeye steaks with chimichurri. So chimichurri is where they take like oil and then they add a bunch of different fresh herbs to it, probably parsley. I'm trying to think, cilantro. It could be a bunch of different herbs. And you blend that and you add a little bit of apple cider vinegar or a little bit of lemon juice to it. And so it's a sauce that you can use with your chicken, with your steaks. and it's really delicious. It just adds so much flavor. So those little things add all the flavor, whether it's a spicy mayo, whether it's a chimichurri, whether you're doing creamy Caesar salad dressing, or just a vegetable dip. All of that adds the interest, the deliciousness to the different recipes that we're having and to our food. So we can really enjoy our food. We don't have to be feeling like we're getting ripped off, that we're not having fun and not enjoying ourselves. We can really enjoy the food, but the next day and even that night feel really good and feel better and better and better as we keep the carbs down when we're dealing with parasites. Even if we don't have enough parasites that would cause chronic disease, I can guarantee you if you eat this way, you will feel many, many years younger. So, we do have a holiday blog post on our website, and that you can find if you just even do a Google search of live disease free and holiday meal ideas, etc. So, something like crispy prosciutto wrapped asparagus, oven roasted carrots with thyme. So, roasted carrots are delicious. Just don't eat too many because carrots are a little bit high in sugar. So, if you had 2 pieces of carrot, that would be fine. And like, you know how the carrots are sliced up and roasted, just eat a couple of pieces of them. Lemon, ginger, broccoli, delicious, creamy. Yeah, we do have the creamy smashed cauliflower recipe there. Roasted Brussels sprouts are always a hit. I love them, and you can have a little bit of dip on the side. And then cauliflower, kale salad. Those are just a few of the recipes. And then that grilled ribeye steak. Maybe you don't want turkey. Maybe you would like to have something else with chimichurri. The recipes are all there. They're a really great hit with our students. And then to make this spicy mayo, you can see we eat a lot of this. There's not much left in the jar. And it's called sambal ulik. So you can just get, it's just like red chili peppers. So no sugar is added. So it's not like a chili sauce. Make sure to avoid the sugar, but it's really great to make things spicy. Or you can even use red pepper flakes also. Just be careful if you have young kids in the family that are going to be eating, just don't put too much because they won't like it if it's too spicy. And some kids do like spice. All right. You're so very welcome. So make sure to share with me what are some of your favorite holiday snacks, meal ideas, whatever. And we'll see if we can possibly, if we have enough time to maybe give you some ideas on how to modify them, or if it is possible to modify them. All right, so let's go on to the successes. So when you do get the carbs down low enough, and I just want to just take a breath right now and I am so grateful for 2023, for God's amazing blessings, his amazing blessings and his loving kindness to help us to have the successes in our students. I really believe it's by the grace of God that we're doing this work. I really believe that with all of my heart and soul, because our students are having successes that people are not having in our standard of care. And we're very humble. Like, we know that we don't have all the answers, but God has all the answers. And he's been incredibly gracious to us to give us the information and the wisdom that we have. So this Live Disease-Free plan is allowing people to recover from diseases that they were told there is no hope for them and there is no cure. Just like myself, I was told that was it for my life, that I would be completely disabled. And every year we're learning more and more and more. And I've been invited to study under different doctors, and I work with doctors. It's absolutely insane. Like, I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm an educator. I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. And it is very humbling for me to just be speaking with doctors and with nurse practitioners and with chiropractors, and we have all kinds of people in our program. We have pharmacists in our program that take and tons of nurses over the years have taken our program. Physiotherapists, medical doctors have taken our program, chiropractors, the list goes on and on, veterinarians. So, like, this is the future. This is where we have to go. We have to treat the root cause. When we have chronic disease, it is caused by microbes, parasites. It is tangible. It is not a mystery. And the science is there. I've shared tons of science. Watch my masterclass training. And if you don't have MS, this is not just specific for MS, it's for any time you don't feel well, anytime you feel like something's wrong, something's really wrong with my health. Your microbes are out of balance. Yeah, maybe you need to change some lifestyle factors, but if you can't get better with just changing the lifestyle factors, you're also dealing with parasites. They are all around us. They are in our environment. They're on our food. They're in our pets. They're in our soil. They're on door handles. You can't avoid them. Yes, you want to, filter your water. You want to treat your water so that you're not drinking raw water. Sometimes our chlorinators don't work and we might drink raw water by accident. But for the most part, we don't drink raw water in developed countries, and maybe in other countries they do. And sure, that's a difference, right? Where they don't have that luxury all the time. We do. But we do have parasites. Otherwise, the veterinarians would not be treating parasites in our pets, right? They're coming in, but not just in our pets, they're coming in on our produce. If you eat in a restaurant, somebody's preparing your food, they didn't wash their hands, they have parasites. You can be infected with parasites. We can get them from our loved ones, from people in our home, like we're passing them around. So it's just part of life. Just like we would deworm our pets, we should be deworming ourselves when we're healthy. But when we're really sick, then yes, we definitely need a treatment plan. And that's what we help people in the Live Disease Free Academy. But the first step is to stop feeding the infection so much. So decreasing the carbs low enough. That is the secret to the Live Disease Free diet. There is no other secret. Is that if the carbs are low enough, and you're going to hear some amazing successes from our students. So when the carbs are low enough, the parasites are much more quiet. They're not going to be having or producing as much poisons. They're not going to be as active. And it makes a huge difference in how you feel. You start to have huge symptom improvements. The first ones would be bladder improving. That's what we see with students within a week to 2 weeks. They might have gotten up 6 times at night. They're getting up once or twice, literally within 1 to 2 weeks. Then they're sleeping better. Then they have more energy. Their brain fog starts to clear. They start to have less spasticity, that cramping. They have more strength, and it goes on. And they're feeling better. They're feeling happier. Their mood is changing. You'll hear more as I talk with the successes. But so we've been doing this for probably close to 10 years in a large group setting with our students from all over the world. And I would say probably about 20 countries by now. We help people to access the practitioners, the treatments, whatever they need to get well. And so now we have some students that have been recovered for many years. So make sure to check out their videos on our YouTube channel, Live Disease Free, also our website, Live Disease Free. And you'll notice that on our website, we have some amazing blog posts. And what I do on those blog posts is I'm condensing down these videos, making them shorter, and then I'm giving you all my notes from these live events. So you can either just skim, read through things, or you can go and watch the video. But one of our students that graduated many years ago, I would say probably like 7 years ago or more, Lisa May, she's due any day now. She's going to have her 3rd baby. So she recovered from multiple sclerosis. She was infertile also. She could not get pregnant before treating these parasites. So she treated well enough that she recovered from MS, and her fertility came back. And now she is having baby number 3. She sent me some pictures, and boy, is she ready to have her baby. I'm so incredibly happy for her. And so she is a registered nurse. And she used to work in the hospital, but she refused to get the you know what 2 years ago. So she lost her job. And so she started a wellness clinic. So she is actually helping people in the way she wants to help them in her wellness clinic, but hopefully she'll have a little bit of a mat leave with her 3rd baby. So she's got 2 girls, and I don't know what the 3rd one is, what type, like girl or boy she's having. I'm not sure yet, but it'll be a surprise. And then we have Sarah, who graduated several years ago also, and she has co-authored a book, and the book is called Resilience Redefined. She just August this year. She published it with several other people. And this is really a book of hope also for people that have multiple sclerosis. So these are stories of different people, but some of them might be talking more about coping with MS. But Sarah, when you see her, she's just vibrant health. She has recovered. And then there's Morella, and Morella is amazing wellness champion. She has started a podcast. So she worked more in administrative work in the past when she had multiple sclerosis, but she has recovered. She's talking about planning a family also, but she has started a podcast called Well Worth It, and you'll hear me interview her. She's super, super sweet. Then there is Vicky, who is a yoga instructor in the UK, and she has been MS free for years. I'm sharing just a few students that have recovered years ago that I'm still in touch with. And so you can see that this is really long lasting. And then there is Melissa. I have Marissa and Melissa. So Marissa is a live disease free coach. She recovered from MS. She's been working with us for at least 4 years. She's an amazing coach. And then there is Melissa, who actually wrote a book this year, 2023, also. And she wrote her book, but she also has had her health food company, which I can't remember what the name of it is, but she has a health food company and she's had it for years. It's something to do with cheats. And I don't know if it's healthy cheats. It's terrible that I should have looked it up. But if you look at our videos, I have a video called Multiple Sclerosis Recovery Testimonies. I kind of go into a lot more detail of these wonderful wellness champions. And then you can actually hear more about them and you can actually hear them talk. They have their own videos where I've interviewed them, and bring some Kleenex because it'll make you cry. So Melissa has not seen a neurologist for 10 years now. 10 years has not had to see a neurologist because she's doing so well. All right, so now I also wanted to mention Tracy, and I just recorded her very recently. But so she was just a student this year. So her Christmas this year is going to be so different than last Christmas, because last Christmas she said she didn't know if she was going to make it, if she was going to continue to be able to live. That's how sick she was. So her recovery is recovering from Crohn's disease, arthritis, chronic pain, tachycardia, fibromyalgia-like symptoms, severe inflammation, brain fog, impaired cognitive function, fatty liver disease, and much more. And so she has gone from literally being bedbound, just basically spending most of the day in her bed. When she would walk, she used to use a walker. She couldn't drive. She was in pain rated at 10 out of 10. Last Christmas, her heart was racing so terribly, she didn't know if she was going to make it. And she's had years and years of sickness. And she's a dentist. She's in the United States. And she now, like after just a few months of treating, and she's seen some pretty big worms that she's passed, and of course, probably some small ones that she hasn't seen, but she can now drive. And I'll read what she just shared yesterday. So we have our live calls on Tuesdays, and this is what she shared yesterday, but she's driving. Her pain is basically gone. She's got rid of the walker. She's able to like make meals for her family. She's able to babysit her grandchildren that she's never been able to babysit before. She's starting to build muscle mass back. She's got her life back. So this is what she just shared yesterday. They always give me an update before our live Q&A call, and she shared, "You asked if I'm still noticing symptom improvements because she's still treating." She said, "Yes, absolutely yes. I always feel better when I end a treatment cycle. And I used to require prescription medication, pain medication, before I could even get out of bed. I am listening to my body, and some days I wake up feeling well enough to pass on both pain medications. This is very encouraging. I'm going to wait until after Christmas to completely stop one of the two pain medications, but I have 1/4 dose by my bed, and it has been there for 4 days now, so I think I'm done." I weaned off of it very slowly, and it appears now that I'm able to stop. And she shared with her husband a couple of days ago, I can't believe how well I am feeling. Thank you, Pam. I owe you so much. I'm so grateful for your help. It is hard to believe how far I've come in such a short time. And her short time is a few months. Like, I think she started in May ish, something like that this year. And I would say that Tracy is a very good implementer. Like, she really followed the diet the way I have it laid out. She supported the body by, making sure daily bowel movements, sleeping well, going through the checklist for healing. And then she started to treat really hard, like treating really aggressively. And her life, like, the doctors would say this is not possible, but the body is amazing. It is a miracle. It knows how to heal if we give it the tools needed. So if you're using a walker and you think, well, there's no hope for me, we've seen lots of people come out of their walkers, no longer needing scooters, wheelchairs. We can't promise, but we can say that if you implement really well, you will have more recovery than you ever thought possible. And you're able to stop the disease from getting worse and again, having more benefits and more recovery than you ever thought possible. This next student, I'm not going to share too many, that we have lots of students in our program. We had a lot of students join just before the holidays, even before Black Friday. So they're wanting to get their ducks in a row so that they can get through the holidays and feel well and start 2024 running. So this student is just new, and he's one of those students that just started a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. And he is just in the prep phase, getting ready to treat. So he's not treating parasites yet. He started with one herb, and he's starting with that oxidizing agent that we talk about. So this is his update he sent yesterday. I slept over 8 hours each night over the past couple of nights. My mood continues to improve. There are times when spasticity disappears for days. The enema has a direct effect on the spasticity of my legs. All the swelling in my left, all the swelling has left my legs. This is very significant as it has been a symptom that's been with me for at least a year. And I've noticed this, that when I take my socks off, there is no sign of swelling from the elastic of the sock. I continue to have more energy to create a future I want. This translates into taking care of my home and starting to do some things with an online business that I have put off for 2 years. So he's not even really treating it. I mean, he is in a little bit of a way where he's using the oxygen type enema, and he did use one herb. I feel so much more hopeful, and I'm so grateful for the wellness that I'm experiencing already. I have so much more stamina at work, like oxygen is able to return to my body. My perception and attitude has changed dramatically, so invaluable. When I do these enemas, my back pain goes away. So the only herb that he started with was just Podarco. And honestly, that's not a miracle herb. It's just a helpful herb. There's a lot of different herbs that are antimicrobial. There's oil of oregano, there's olive leaf extract, there's garlic, there is grapefruit seed extract, there is Podarco, etc. So there's a lot of different herbs, antimicrobial or medicinal herbs. But I think that the enemas are helping him a lot, because when you do these oxygen type enemas, it's clearing parasites out of your large intestine, and that works really well. The next student who's in the program right now, also just getting ready to treat, said, I really feel that these enemas are helping me a lot. I never thought I would say this, but I actually look forward to them now. And so if you're wondering, because I can't talk about it here, but I do have a video that would be on Rumble, or you can just do a Google search on Live Disease Free on our post, the blog posts I have done, and it's treating parasites with oxygen therapy, something like that, or something like that. And you can find, I talk honestly about it there because I can, because it's not censored, but I can't talk about it here. It's ridiculous, but we're not allowed to. And then this next student is another student who's just getting ready to treat. And she said, these are my results so far. My right arm and my hand are more usable. So just the diet and supporting the body, like trying to get the bowels moving daily, trying to get sleep, and working on getting the carbs low enough. In August, I couldn't even lift a cup of coffee with my right hand. Now I can lift a tea kettle and other heavier items. My grip has improved a lot, but it's still not as strong as my left hand, but it's still a huge improvement. The numbness in my right hand has improved dramatically. Before I started the diet, the Live Disease Free diet, my right forearm was totally numb. And so now, now only about 2 inches above my right wrist is numb. I also no longer have tremors. So we have seen so many improvements, like also like diplopia. So where your eyes wander and they go crossed and they move around. Just from the diet alone, we've noticed several students this year where their vision corrected. The diplopia was not an issue anymore. So she no longer has tremors. She's now lifting weights and she's exercising on the treadmill and the stationary bike regularly, at least 3 to 4 times a week. She's also lost 40 pounds that she wants to lose. She wants to lose 10 more, but you're not hungry. You're not withholding food from yourself. You're not starving yourself. It's just a benefit of following this diet. But if you don't want to lose weight, you don't have to. You just have to eat more. And the next student I just wanted to share is Amy, and she had MS for 17 years. She was just a student from this year, and she is completely symptom free, which is amazing. And she just said, I am still feeling wonderful with no symptoms. Praise God. Absolutely. And I really believe again that we are doing this by the grace of God, this work. So I'm just going to see if you have any quick questions. And then I'm going to let you guys go and start to plan. I think a really big thing about the holidays is, I've been doing this for so long, but just sit down and whether you put it on your phone or whether you put it on a piece of paper, make a list. Kind of think, okay, so Pam said all these different things, and sausage is another great thing, right? But just make sure it doesn't have fillers in it. That's a tricky one to try to find ones that don't have fillers or sugar, but just sit down and go over like the blog posts that I have and just pick, like one or two drinks, like a tea or two, and then also maybe something cold that you like, have it in the house so that if you're going to go visit somebody, you can bring it with you. Or if somebody's coming to your place, you have it. You're prepared. Being prepared is really the biggest part of all of this. And then think about, okay, what kind of appies do we want to have? So my husband right now is fighting the crowds in Costco. I'm really glad I'm not there. But he's picking up all these things. I just gave him a list of things that we need for tomorrow. But making that list is so important because it's like the blog post that I have for you is like a memory jogger. You can just go through it and go, oh, yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh, I don't like that. I'll skip that one, but I like these other things. So and then even with your meal, like when are you having your big meal? Maybe you like turkey, maybe you don't. We love turkey, but another great thing that I'm sure that we have it somewhere on those recipes, and I've done this several times, is where you just take the breast. Maybe you don't have a lot of people and you don't want a huge recipe of a big turkey. You can take the turkey breast and then you can mix a bunch of herbs together with some butter and just mix them all together with salt and pepper and butter. And then you can push it under the skin of the turkey breast, lay it out flat. You can still leave it as a roast or lay it out flat. And then cook it, and just make sure you don't cook it too much. Make sure you cook it until it's just done. And it's so incredibly delicious. Like if you just don't overcook it, it's amazing. And that would be a much easier thing to do if you don't want to do a whole turkey. But be careful with hams because ham usually has a lot of sugar in it. When you bake your ham and then you get all this like really dark color in different areas, it's usually the sugar syrup fluid coming out of it. So I've kind of stayed away from ham unless it's a butcher that you really trust. I would personally stay away from ham. And bacon, be really careful. Most of the bacon has some sugar in it also. So this is where you just become aware, you read ingredients, you read labels, really important. Don't just take things like smoked salmon. I never would have thought there was sugar in smoked salmon until, you check the back of the label and you go, "What? There's sugar in smoked salmon?" Some, but not all. So really important to read the ingredients. Hi, Patty. I'm so glad that you find this helpful. What type of exercise do you do if you don't mind me asking? I have had times when I went to the gym. I'm just, like if I get there, I do it. I like the feeling of working out and sweating, but I just kind of get bored. I do a lot of like going for walks. I actually just got a horse. So I just do things at home more. Like um, just because I live out of town a little bit too. So what I like to do is just go online and there is this, I think it's called MadFit, just really simple exercise. There's tons of different classes that you can do for free on YouTube and you can build. So for me, I really need to be working more on core. I mean, I'm not going to do a ton of riding in the winter because with ice and snow here, but training the horse for sure. So you need a lot of arm muscles. And so I do have weights and I do have a mat and I do cardio here. I do have a stationary bike. But I'm the kind of person that would just love to just put my boots on and go for an hour walk, a brisk down the mountain, up the mountain. That kind of a thing is what I enjoy doing. And then obviously some weight training and core strength because sitting behind a computer is pretty hard on your body. You can lose muscle mass for sure. So I love nature and I love to be out. I'd rather just go for a hike but I still do some little classes, but maybe like half an hour, in the mornings before I go to work. So Sam, you're very welcome for putting this on the right path. Yes, I want to wish you guys an amazing 2024. Like, if you're just learning about what I'm sharing with you, this is your answer. You just have to implement it. While you're sick, you're dealing with parasites. And when you treat them, you will have more recovery than you ever thought possible. Very often, full recovery. So, Fawn, you're happy to say that after 21 years of multiple sclerosis and ending up in a wheelchair bound and finally on your feet, working out daily and teaching yourself to walk again. God bless you, Pam, for hope. You and I need to I need to interview you also. Amazing. So yes, Fawn is another there's so many wellness champions that are just so amazing and they're carrying the baton. They're reaching out to people around them and that's what wellness champions do is that we take charge of our health. We play an active role in our healthcare so that we can reach our health goals. And then we forward this to all the loved ones around us that are suffering. And man, after what's been going on the last 3 years, there have been a lot of people that their health is really suffering and they really need hope. So congratulations, Fawn. I'm so happy for you. You should email, if you don't mind emailing me, or maybe I'm sure I still have your email address, but let's chat. I want to get your amazing success so that you can give others hope too. So I'm going to end here. I just want to thank you so much for all the times you've spent with me. And I really hope that what I've shared is really making a difference in your life. Please, we've got all the Live Disease-Free Diet guidelines on our website for free under research in the main menu under research. Look up all of the different types of research about the parasites that are causing disease, not just MS. Watch my masterclass training. I talk about all the steps you need to take. And then if you need support, if you're like, well, Pam, I get the steps, but I don't have a doctor that will help me, then we can help you in the Live Disease-Free plan. So then you can just book a time to chat with me. You will watch the coachathon. And after you watch the coachathon, you can either join or I still want to chat. I always have an intro call, a welcome call with any new students because we're going to work together and I want to set you up for success. So I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season. If you enjoy these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you in 2024. Take care and bye-bye for now.